Ready, set, let's go. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up, going all the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up, going all the way up. There's nothing you can do to stop it. I've been on the way up cause I know I'm popping. Hits, no misses, clean up like the dishes. Ain't no point telling me to stop cause I won't listen. Every level got a new devil. I'ma give him hell cause I don't know better. I'm a born winner, I'm going all the way up. There's nothing you can do to make me ever give up. Let's go. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up, going all the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up, going all the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up, going all the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up, going all the way up. I'm getting close. I can taste it. I'm going up like a spaceship. I'm shaking the ground. I'm making it loud. I go to work when nobody's around. It's time to get it. It's time to go. It's time to shine. It's my time to blow.
Hey partner, I'm Barry, your pocket crew chief, the very first AI-powered mechanic for sim racing. Got a car that's a little loose or tight? Just tell me how it's handling, and I'll whip up instant setup recommendations just for you. Want me to get even more precise? Snap a picture of your setup, and I'll fine-tune it to perfection. And hey, I'm not just about giving orders. I'll explain why every adjustment matters, so you can really understand your ride. I'll even teach you the science behind the setup. Ever wondered why the track bar is so important? I've got the answer. With Pocket Crew Chief, I'll make you smarter, faster, and race ready. So what are we waiting for? Let's build to win.
Go have a good day today. Like I said, load all the fans. Thank you guys for coming out here. We got a great crowd today. Everybody listen at home.
If you push, I'm defiant.
Everybody enjoy the
Just try it. It is bound to get violent when you walk this way.
Do it. All four tires face the same direction at the end of this thing. Ready? Green, 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 green. Good, baby. Put the pressure on that little. You know what? You get it. Crash behind you. Just past halfway, bud. Just past halfway. A lot of racing to go. Take care of your stuff.
I won't stop until you're down in your grave. With the buckle of your friends to keep you company.
That car up there is your next spot. Hit him.
When the enemy is out your door, you better hold on.
Yeah, man. Let him come to you. Don't push him.
When you find out what they're looking
White flag. Nice and smooth.
I was raised in the shadows. Nothing else even matters. Yeah. When the enemy is out your
Checker flag.
Welcome to Race 9 of the Slingshot Racing League Stand-Up Fight Series, and tonight, the drivers are taking on the biggest oval in NASCAR, it's Talladega. As the points battle tightens up, we've got a field of drivers ready to put the pedal to the floor and go all out in the Evan Pienta Design 69. I'm Sky Shrek. I'm joined up in the booth tonight by Sal Nikosia with Kobe Jordan producing for us tonight. Sal, Talladega is one of the scariest tracks in all of NASCAR. What makes this place so special?
Oh, this place is unbelievable, Sky. I mean, this is a track that when it was originally introduced into the Cup field, drivers didn't want to race on it. There was such controversy around the speeds that could be reached at this facility. And as the years have gone on and the cars have gotten safer, the racing has been just so fantastic. Superspeedway racing at its finest, especially here in these cars tonight. I think we're in for a fantastic show here in this race.
Yeah, and it feels like we always see our fair share of drama here in the Slingshot Racing League. When we go to these plate tracks, you're almost guaranteed a pretty good finish one way or another. You're also almost guaranteed to see Zachary Mitchell on his roof one way or another. Some things just always seem to happen at tracks like Daytona and Talladega. And if we take a quick look at our schedule here for the course of the season, we're at race 9. It's Talladega right now. We've got 4 more races left to decide a champion. North Wilkesboro, Watkins Glen, Auto Club, and Homestead will round off our season here in the stand-up fight Invitational Cup. It's actually race 8 at Talladega. I was counting the Clash at Michigan, which was an exhibition race, but was part of our initial schedule here in this series. North Wilkesboro is going to be a crown jewel money race, so some drivers will get some extra cash next week out. But today at Talladega, it's all for the points battle, and it's all to try and get yourself closer to Aaron Smith, who has been running away with it this season.
Yeah, Aaron Smith, the class of the field, but a lot of these drivers looking to try to gain some ground. We saw the 87 Patrick Colby get the win last week, and see what he can do here tonight at Talladega as he's putting down some qualifying or some practice qualifying laps right now. But there have been some winners. Aaron Smith has not been totally perfect, pretty close, but not totally perfect. So the door may be still open, but it's certainly just by a crack.
Yeah, Daytona and Talladega, these kind of tracks always tend to have a bit of a thing for upset winners. If you remember just a couple months ago when we went to Daytona for our season opener, that race was won by Brian Brobst, who managed to get his way into victory lane for his only win of the season. Devin Jack brought it home second in that race, Derek Fike in third. Brian Brobst back in the field tonight, so we'll look for him to try to defend his crown at the plate tracks. That was his only top 5, only top 10 of the season, too. So he is going to look for a good result tonight to jump himself a little further up the point standings. We don't have that points graphic for you, but we can tell you right now the leader by a long shot is Aaron Smith, who has won 4 of our 7 races this season. He's been so dominant, but he wrecked out when we were at Daytona, and he will look to avoid that here tonight if he wants to grab win number 5. Also showing in the top 5 right now, Christopher Smith, Justin Wilson, Devin Jack, and Patrick Colby, last week's winner who jumped up there with the win. Scotty Sobczak also sitting up towards the top of the board with his win this season. The only drivers who have been able to knock off Aaron Smith's dominance. Qualifying is going to wrap up here in just a second, and then we will have a 5-minute warm-up before we get going for your main event tonight. 69 laps in the Evan Pienta Design 69. And taking a look at your qualifying results right now, we won't spoil them all for you, but sitting on pole is going to be the driver we just mentioned, Scotty Sobczak, looking for his second win of the season.
Yeah, a lot of good speed. If you can get up front and stay up front here, there's not a tremendous level of strategy in the pit you need as long as you can keep everything under control. So qualifying position means a tremendous amount, and I'm sure Scotty Sobczak is very excited to be seeing the front of the field here. But it can all change in an instant. That's the fun and the excitement of Talladega.
It really can change quickly. Scotty Sobczak learned that at Daytona, where he was also on the pole for that race as well, and then proceeded to finish 29th after getting involved in an accident. So, I mean, you just said it. Anything can change. You can start up front, you can go to the back, you can start dead last, and you can find your way up to victory lane by the end of this thing. It is all on you, and it's all on being able to dodge the wrecks. We had 12 different leaders and 20 different lead changes when we went to Daytona. No one led more than 16 laps. That was Justin Wilson who led that many laps, and he's in the field tonight, currently qualifying in third.
Yeah, it's going to be a special race, a special night for drivers who want to make their way through the field. I'm interested to see, how patient drivers choose to be and how they want to work with one another. It's really teamwork making the dream work at Talladega, trying to make a third line work and trying to get the pushes you need and take the pushes that you can get. So be interesting to see the strategy that plays out on track. These super speedways are so unique, and these cars at the speeds that they do here, I don't know. These races are ones that I look forward to all year long, and hopefully everybody out there watching tonight will be just as entertained as hopefully we will be up here in the booth.
Yeah, we've got a field of 27 cars getting ready to go here, and Aaron Smith, driver that we've mentioned, has won 4 races this season and grabbed a second place along with that as well. He's going to roll off in P2. Some drivers are learning a thing or two in this warm-up, because we've already seen a couple crashes just as drivers kind of work in the draft, try to figure out who their buddies are going to be for this race. I guess this is probably the time to get your bad pushes out before we head into the main event tonight, and a bad push could end up taking out the entire field. The big one seems to lurk kind of around every corner here, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. I mean, and it's good to get these things out of your system in practice, especially with the new update for these cars at these tracks. You're going to want to be able to feel and understand maybe where you can push the boundaries, and pushing the boundaries is what it's all about here. So understanding what you can and can't do, figuring it out early, not causing the big one, and surviving long enough to see the checkered flag at the end.
Yeah, and bump drafts can always be a little dangerous in these cars specifically at super speedways. If you hit someone just slightly wrong, it's really easy to spin them out and to trigger a wreck that'll take out probably you and probably about 10 other cars. So you've always got to be on the top of your game here. We're going to send it down to the national anthem, and when we come back, we will have the starting grid and your race tonight. Stay tuned.
shaking the ground, I'm making it loud. I go to work when nobody's around. It's time to get it. It's time to go. It's time to shine. It's my time to blow.
We are back here for the Evan Pienta Designs 69. And looking at your starting grid tonight, your pole sitter, the winner of the Evan Pienta Designs Pole Award, is going to be Scotty Sobczak in the 81. He'll roll off next to Aaron Smith in the 70. Justin Wilson goes from third tonight in the 58, next to Chris Smith in the 28. Row 3 is the 8 of Braxton Deweese and the 5 of Robert Brobst. Patrick Colby, last week's winner, rolls off next to Devin Jack in row 4. And rounding out the top 10, we've got Nick Dicer in the 00 and Josh Ward in the 92.
At 11th and 12th, we've got Rod Jones and Laura Wiseman lining up next to each other. It's Tom Lickard, Brian Brobst, and Jay Leach in 13th, 14th, and 15th. Matt Kuntz, Sam Stoner, and Steve Vest make up the next 3 entries here. That's for 15th, 16th, and 16th, 17th, and 18th. Johnny Rapp and James Danforth round out the top 20.
And starting back from there, we've got Derek Fike in the 67, Paul Thomas in the 42, Benson Weaver in the 1, Zachary Mitchell in the 23, Jay Heischman in the 06 was the last driver to take a qualifying time, but we also have Peter Stewart in the 9 and Ryan Hinkle in the 21, who did not take times and will be starting from the back of the field tonight. 27 drivers. What's your key to the race here, Sal?
Just to survive, just to have the wherewithal to survive the race and be patient enough to be there when it counts. I think that's really the only key you can have. Not a ton you can do here on tires. Being mindful of fuel, but I don't think that's really a major concern in comparison to just being a good teammate, or not a teammate, being a courteous driver to your competitors is a better way to put that, I guess, and making sure everybody can get across the start finish line and choosing your timing for the right opportunities.
Yeah, you got to choose your timing here. You also got to choose your teammates here, because you want people who are going to help you get to the front at the end of this race. You don't want to partner with someone and have them just kind of leave you hanging out. So who you're friends with, who your teammates are, and where they are situated in the race could very much be the difference between you winning and you ending up upside down on the front straightaway. The pace car is going to come in here out of turn 4. We'll make it all the way down through this tri-oval to the start-finish line on the other side. It's going to be Scotty Sobczak on pole. It's going to be Aaron Smith heading up that outside line in second. The drivers sneak their way on through the restart zone, and we're green at Talladega. Sobczak's already trying to get out. Look at this. Horrible start for Scotty Sobczak. He's going to lose 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 positions here before he's able to get back going. And that entire inside lane is way off pace. You've got Justin Wilson 3 wide right now with Laura Wiseman, who started this race in 11th. Wilson started it in 3rd. That's how bad that inside line went.
Yeah, we heard him Brobst a little earlier, talk about how his shifter may not have been feeling right and not being really able to get into 3 and 4 the way he wanted to. Maybe it was something where he did have a little bit of an issue there shifting up through the gears as everyone was getting up to speed. But unfortunately, what he's done now is he started this second pack, which I'm sure will be able to suck back up to the lead 4 cars, but a little bit of a lag here to get things started shuffling up the field. Maybe good for some to get close to those that they want to race around, but I'm sure these drivers want to be as close to the leader as they can be as they get through the early stages here.
And I'm sure that's what Sobczak definitely did not want to see. He wanted to take that pole position, get himself out into the lead, and just hold it for as long as possible so he didn't have to deal with all the cars battling around him, maybe wrecking him for position. The safest place to be at this track is usually in the lead. Now he's going to go a little deeper in the field. He sits 5th, and he is well within territory where a bad push could put him in a lot of trouble here tonight.
Yeah, and talking about pushing, I mean, that's everything. It's just making sure you can take the push just as easily as you can give the push. And not everybody, it's an art form in these cars for those who haven't been in these lobbies on iRacing or had experience with these Gen 4 cars, the speeds they do and the way that you come up on the car in front of you, it can be almost deceiving sometimes. Hitting that car square in the front or square in the rear with your front, if you're the driver pushing from behind, is absolutely crucial. Anything off to the left and the right is going to get that driver in front of you squirrely, and it's going to cause a big wreck. So going to be interesting to see those drivers put those skills on display as we get going here. But I can't help but notice the number 70 of Aaron Smith. I feel like we've seen him lead a lot of laps of a lot of races of late here, and here he is back out in front at Talladega to start this one off.
Yeah, and we're single file behind him. He's not really seeing any threats to that lead that he's pulled out over the field because everybody is single file right around this inside line right now, just kind of making laps, biding their time, waiting to tick some more off the board. I wouldn't be surprised if we get back up double file soon. I think some of these drivers, especially some of the ones maybe a little further back in line, will want to be a little more aggressive and will want to get their way to the front. Maybe they'll find some friends that'll help them do it. For now, though, on lap 4, we are single file in a train around the bottom.
And you see some of these drivers starting to deviate up to the top line. That's Brobst up there trying to break away. He's got a little bit of help.
He's got a couple cars working up there with him right now. That's Jay Leach in the 2, Justin Wilson, Josh Ward, and Scotty Sobczak are your cars who are currently up on that high side. And the 4 of them are pushing pretty well here, trying to get Scotty Sobczak up back to the lead to try and challenge the 70 of Aaron Smith. Make it side by side like they were supposed to be on that restart, but in separate lanes here. 92 of Josh Ward is trying to push. Really, it's the 58 of Justin Wilson, the 3rd car in line, that seems to be giving the biggest pushes right now. He's really trying to get Josh Ward up there to challenge that 81 of Sobczak, and Sobczak's going to get a good run now into turn 3. 70 has the advantage because he's got the shorter lane around, and the outside lane's actually going to back off a little bit with their pushing, so I'm not sure if Sobczak's going to be able to regain the momentum as we head to the start-finish line.
Yeah, it's going to get tougher and tougher here. That top lane getting a little bit more strung out as they look to get a little bit tighter up on one another. I'll tell you what, Josh Ward has given Scotty Sobczak great push right there through the tri-oval. It's going to get him out by a nose length there. I believe he led that lap, the 81, that time around. But they're going to need some more help. There's only 4 cars on that top line. You've got a lot of traffic on the bottom, creating some aero priority for that bottom lane if they can get close to one another. As we see a few more cars on the top here come into the equation. That's a 99 of Tom Lickert. Uh-oh, but here we go. Brobst and Ward jump down to the bottom line in front of Aaron Smith. That's going to leave that top line to fend for themselves. Justin Wilson crying out to his teammates to come give him a push and help get that outside line rolling here again.
That's Scotty Sobczak up there dropping down with Josh Ward 1 and 2 there. Sobczak pushing pretty good on that outside lane, and they kind of abandoned that 58 of Justin Wilson out there. It was only really a matter of time before those cars dropped their way in, and now Wilson is in trouble because he's only got Jay Leach and Tom Lickert really with him right now. They are free-falling quickly back through the field. You saw it there momentarily. We've got a couple cars who have lost the draft and are just hanging out all on their lonesome. Tinkle, Kuntz, Thomas, Mitchell, and then DeWeese and Brian Brobst have completely lost it. But up front right now, it's going to be Scotty Sobczak and Josh Ward 1 and 2. Sobczak, your pole sitter, had that bad start, but you wouldn't be able to know it by where he's running right now.
Yeah, was able to use that top line to his advantage, shuffle his way back up to the front of the bottom line. I think it's going to be interesting to see how long some of these cars, as we watch the top line, how long some of these cars at the back of the bottom want to stay patient before they jump up and try to join the Congo line with the rest of these drivers to kind of get their way, move their way back up to the lead. So it's a game of chess, not checkers, and choosing the right time to do the right thing and put yourself in the right place is going to be everything. And it's something these drivers are going to have to think about even as early as right now. Only lap 8 coming around to lap 9 here of this 69 lap race here tonight.
And I'm not sure how these two lost the draft Well, no, Deweese started in the pit, so that's how he ended up losing the draft. And I think Brian Bropes might have had a similar situation where those two drivers rolled off from in-pit road, didn't have any help, and they're now both on the verge of getting lapped. Brian Bropes 41 seconds back of Sobzak. It's only about 10 more till he gets lapped. Deweese is 5 seconds out in front of him, and they're losing about 5 seconds a lap now, so it'll only be really a couple more before we start to see two cars get lapped, and that could really hurt them here for the rest of this race, especially if we stay green for a substantial amount of time, and they're not able to get that lap back.
Yeah, and it's where it gets really tough. We got a little 3-wide action here toward the middle back of this pack. Drivers trying to figure it out, maybe making moves, not really working with each other, but 3 wide in the rear is something I don't think you ever anticipate seeing, but it just shows that sense of urgency for these drivers to try to move their way to the front as we have the threat of lap cars coming up. Lap cars always rejoining the field at super speedways is something to keep your eyes peeled for. How will they integrate back into the pack, especially with cars 3 abreast here going around turns 1 and 2?
I think these two groups are probably going to work together and maybe run that higher lane. Jay Leach is right in that the third lane can be really quick here at Talladega, but the issue is he only has about 3 cars up there with him, and these guys are almost looking like they're going to lose the draft of this lead group because they've got no one in front of him, and they're really stringing out this bottom line with all the side drafting they're doing while 3 wide. Leach is probably just going to have to get down to the bottom here and try to grab a draft off Benson Weaver in front of him, and that's exactly what he will do. These guys might have to single file out here, or else they'll just get stuck and maybe even lose the draft if they can't get themselves back up.
Yeah, it was a nice idea, I think, to try to be a little bit more aggressive and get together to try to get a run going. But like you said, I think ultimately, again, to your point, just side drafting one another was not something they wanted to be doing in order to stay up with this lead pack, even though it is just single file racing. And as you see it now, most of these drivers getting back in line, and the ones who couldn't are headed to the back of the pack to pick up on the tail end of the draft if they can. So interesting to see, nonetheless, as the drivers start to experiment with what they think might put them in a position for later on in the race.
And it's looking like these cars might be able to rejoin the lead group here. I think Benson Weaver in the 1 is kind of dropping off a bit to try to give these guys the run that they need in order to close back up to the field. And, well, Jay Leach is just going to go straight around Benson Weaver. So we'll see how this works out, but Benson Weaver is going to lose a few spots. Jay Leach is aggressive right now in trying to get his way up through this field.
Can't say I blame him. I mean, you're staring at a bunch of cars in front of you that are just turning into dots on the screen, so you want to get the move going as quick as you can, but it's going to be all about who's there behind them there to help them and making sure they can make it work. Try as you may, want the track position all you want, as these two drivers, oh boy, a little bit of contact there. We talk about pushing. See if they can handle it.
They might lose the draft here. This is a pretty big gap between Steve Vest and Benson Weaver right now. I'm not sure why Jay Leach pulled up to the outside, had a clear window to drop down in front of everybody, and then just stayed on the outside, because he lost about 6 spots and the draft in the process of doing that. So not the greatest move of all time for Jay Leach, and having lost the draft, these guys are really going to have to work their way back up through the field. It's 1.25 seconds and getting bigger. They're not going to get him here if this group is still single file up front.
Yeah, that front group's going to have to deal with a lap car here coming up. Depending on how that goes, it may cause the lead pack to check up just a little bit. Maybe gives that back group a chance to collect themselves. But I think you're right. I think they are now very much so out of the draft. You've got one out in no man's land there. I believe that's the 11 of Brian Bropst between the two packs. But see how this continues as lap car of Braxton Deweese decides to stay up high, not a factor. I'm sure he'll want to slide in where he can to get back into the draft, but not going to do any favors for those drivers out back that need to so desperately gain track position.
I was going to wonder if maybe those lap cars could serve as a bridge to get those guys further back up to the lead group, but they immediately started going 3 wide again, so they're not going to get back up there unless they're single file. And they're not really going to get up there unless this first group of 11 cars from Sobzak to Steve Vest go double or even triple file here, because they've just got more cars in the line and they're pushing better around the inside. That's really what you need to do right now to keep this group together as we take lap 15.
Yeah, we'll see how it continues on here. These laps just flying by already. I mean, everybody up here at the front, kind of nose to tail. Like you said, it's just a train of cars. You see these cars wiggle back and forth, too. Something to take note of. These cars, a lot of people think, okay, hold the wheel left as you come out of the turn, and you'll be just fine. You could do this with your eyes closed. These cars, a lot of aerodynamics at play as they're running single file, trying to just hold that wheel. It is not as easy as it looks. These drivers having to work on it to maintain their track position and maintain their position in the draft, and we've seen how detrimental it is if you end up out of it. So a lot of work being done behind the wheel here tonight.
Yeah, and you got to really make sure your car stays straight here, because one bad push can send you all the way sideways if you struggle to hit the car in front of you right. Scotty Sobzak got that lead back about 10 laps ago with a good run on the outside and has held it since then. As we're working lap 16 right now, now it's 10 cars have pulled away, because Steve Vest in the 60 has just lost the draft at the back of this, and he's going to fall into this group of Rye Jones, Justin Wilson. That is the second pack, and we will be down to only 10 cars up front right now. These cars at the back are going to be hoping for a caution, but with how clean the cars up front are running, I don't really think you're going to get one from up there.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if you got any kind of real meaningful contact happening between these cars up here at the front of the pack. I think everybody's just really satisfied with being able to stay in the draft, and I mean, without any kind of cause or yellow flag happening somewhere else. As we see a little bit of skittering and scattering there. That's the 87 and the 65. That's Sam Stoner, Patrick Colby. Looked like they made a little bit of contact there and get side by side. Nothing too egregious that they can't figure out, but worth noting as they try to stay in line and stay with the draft.
Yeah, they're going to drop a little far back here, but I think those cars should be able to hold the draft, at least if they start working a little closer together. Well, maybe no, they won't, because Stoner is pretty rapidly losing time here on 8th place James Danforth. They have lost the draft back there, so we are down to only 8 cars up in this lead wreck. We haven't had any wrecks. It's just been aggressive racing and loose race cars that have kind of cut drivers out of the draft and have sent us down to only a top 8 right now. Only 18 laps into this race. So these drivers up front are going to be incentivized to just keep it single file and keep it green for as long as possible, because they do not want these second groups to close back up to them.
Yeah, I don't think it's really a question of balancing how aggressive you want to be and where do you want to be to make that move late in the race. You can't. It's always to finish first you must finish, but to finish first, you have to be in the group that's up at the front, especially at Talladega. So is it worth making those moves? Some drivers have found out the hard way that it's not, and others are just staying patient and willing to be in line where they are, satisfied with their position, their running position currently, just to be able to get a chance to cross the start finish and first here at the end.
The drivers who are in this top 8 are mostly cars who started up in the top 10, but then at the end of the line there in that 88, you've also got James Danforth, who started this race back in 20th and has wheeled it all the way back up through the field. Great drive for him to keep it steady, keep it on pace, and not get caught up in any of these problems that have separated this pack so much. We have some interesting pushing going on in the second group. Justin Wilson just gave a huge shot to the back of Patrick Colby. He got that car way loose and out of line. Thought that was going to be the caution for a second here, as they're really moving around. They're pushing a lot harder in this pack than they are in the lead one, which could help to get them up there, especially since they seem to have 8 cars in this pack now. but it also increases the chance of having a wreck when these cars are getting as loose as they are. As of right now, this group is gaining on your top 8 now that they finally got a good amount of cars in line.
Yeah, it's not too late. There's still an opportunity for those drivers to play nice with one another in the rear of the pack and get that position, but it's going to take a little bit to gain that ground back. So interesting to see if they'll stay patient now that they are all lined up and gaining ground slowly a little bit at a time here.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. I think trying to go too wide here is really not gonna help your ability to close up to this lead group. They gained like half a second that last time around. Patrick Colby, I think, tried to jump out, tried to maybe get someone to go with him. No one wanted to go with him, and now they've lost 3/10 again. So this is not gonna work unless these cars stay single file, stay tight to each other, and just keep pushing up the field.
Yeah, everything is so aero dependent here. You just want to stay nose to tail. Maybe those side-by-side moves were worth the risk a little earlier on when the pack was tighter up to one another. But if this second group can stay uniform and gain a half a second a lap here, they could be a factor here in just a few as we get going. This will be lap number 22 this time by here. One of the unique things, too, while we're chatting about track facts earlier, was the tri-oval here. The start-finish line is way down at the end of the tri-oval. So not always the traditional at the flag stand center of the front stretch at Talladega. So you get that much more, a little bit of extra racing out of Dega. Makes for some great finishes, some great last lap moves. Just getting word that Johnny Rapp, the 52 car, has a meatball, blew the engine.
Was that from maybe being so close to someone that he just overheated it and it went, or was that a money shift situation? I don't know. I couldn't tell there.
Yeah, could have been either or. Could have been from when he gave him that big push, maybe just sitting behind too long, but that's an interesting situation to be in here. Unfortunate.
Yeah, that will take Johnny Rapp out of the race here, and he will be our first DNF of the race tonight. The second group continuing to try to gain time on the first pack of cars. It was 3 seconds from Samuel Stoner to the leader, Scotty Sobczak, at the line this time. It was 4 seconds just a few laps ago. So those cars are pretty rapidly starting to close this gap. And if they can keep pushing and stay together, this group of 8 cars here from 9th, back to 15th with 1 lap car in there as well could get back up. Actually, what's going to hurt them is they've gone down to 7 cars because Patrick Colby lost the draft after pulling out a line there.
The magic of having all those cars, that back half of the field there, get together and stay uniform is if they can get a run when they get to this front pack, there's going to be such a run of speed that they'll get when they get up to the back of this group. It'll make for a lot of really fun side-by-side racing if they all elect to jump up to the top line. So hoping that for everyone here tonight, as everybody else is still, we're nose to tail throughout the field right now, but laying the groundwork for some interesting moves that could be produced here later on, as we've got some strong pushes happening in that second group trying to make it work. Justin Wilson pushing Samuel Stoner with everything he's got. These are fast cars, fast drivers back here. Rye Jones always fast, trying to make it work.
After losing Patrick Colby, they've kind of stalled out a little bit. Just looking at the lap time comparisons, they actually lost about half a tenth to the lead group now. I think that first pack kind of saw that the drivers were coming and tightened it up, started pushing a little harder up there at the front of the field. Combine that with having Patrick Colby drop out and losing that advantage of having an equal car count. This group is really kind of in limbo right now, where they're not losing time. They're not sliding back to any further cars back there, but they're also not really gaining any time either. They're kind of stuck in purgatory right now, about 3 to 3.5 seconds back, unable to really make the dent that they would need to get into the draft of James Danforth and close back up on these cars.
And it sounded like over the radio there, as these drivers in that rear pack are chatting, sounds like they want to try to do what they can to pick Patrick Colby back up again as they come back around here in the following, in the next few laps. Definitely going to be something crucial for them just to have that extra car in that line to get that speed going. So keep your eyes open for a little bit of strategy back there. Uh-oh. They're 2x2 back there. A little bit of hard pushing and pushes them out of line.
And this is going to really hurt that ability to close up to the lead group here. They're going to lose so much time with Stoner and Wilson being forced all the way out and looks like all the way to the back here as well. Stoner will be able to slot in. Both of these cars will come into line right in front of Heishman, and they're still loose between the two of them. They're not going to lose the draft, but they will lose almost a second to your front group. Lap 27, we're still green, and we've still only got 8 cars in a line hanging out up front, biding their time at this point until we get to the first green flag pit stop of the race, which is likely to be within the next 10 or 15 laps.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see once these cars have to come down pit road, how they decide they want to get on and off, who they want to be friendly with, and what strategies they have. Imagining, this is going to be a lot of fuel stops, but at the late stages of Talladega, you never know what kind of strategy might come into play on pit road. So want to preserve yourself to get there at the end. But this front 8, pretty untouchable after some early back and forth aggressive racing that sent that large group back to the rear of the field.
We're almost halfway through this thing now. In about 5 laps, we will be. This race is really going by quick. And you haven't seen any moves being made up in the front of the field. It is just Sobzak, Ward, Smith going 1, 2, 3 in a line around the racetrack, rigging that bottom. You're not seeing anyone pull out. You're not seeing anyone do anything crazy. This is just going to stay settled probably until the green flag pit stop here, which I think will come in about 10 laps, maybe even sooner, as these drivers are going to start to get a little bit low on fuel. It'll come right now, in fact. And the whole top 8 is going to make their way down pit road at once, and we're going to see a couple cars maybe be a little close here on speed. But I think everyone in that top 8 cars made it onto pit road cleanly. Your second group, on the other hand, is all still out there, and they're going to go another lap.
And you see just what the race is like, even onto pit road. Drivers pushing it really hard there. You don't want to take a risk of speeding on pit road, but trying to get those lights right where they need them to be to enter and get on and off here and get back out as a group. So that'll give us a chance to see what this back 8 can get done. They opted to stay out. They have a little bit more time. Try to work with one another here as their green flag cycle is going to come around next.
And yeah, we're going to see those cars come onto pit road now, and they will take their service. This is another group of your leaders. Some of these cars are still out here, and they're all going to come down now. You've got Rye Jones making the way down pit road, along with Stoner, along with Heishman in this group of 6 cars. So all of those lines are pitting together. We'll see who ultimately comes out first. Colby, Leach, Lickert, and Fike are going to be the leaders. Oh, that is the 58 of Wilson. Hard into the inside pit wall there. That was contact with the 60 of Steve Vest. One driver coming in, one coming out, and the 58 gets the very short end of the stick. You'll see it here. Ooh.
Yeah, just in a tough position there. I don't think the 58 even saw the 60. Just, behind in the helmet, behind the window there. The pillars can get in the way, especially as you're trying to aim for your pit box, and you're so focused that you don't see a driver coming, and you end up getting spun around on pit road. So added drama here at Talladega.
Yeah, and that 58 car is going to be in pit road for a while here. It's not fully cycled around yet because you've got 4 cars who are still out on the racetrack, having not made a pit stop. Colby, Leach, Lickard, and Fike are all in a line. But looking back in that second group, the leader of it right now is the 92 of Josh Ward, who is sitting in 5th, and he has a line of those same 8 cars. They came in together, they came out together. They're 5th through 12th right now. Josh Ward in the 92, back to Robert Brobst in the 5. And guess what? It's still a 3-second gap back to the next car, Rye Jones. And he's in trouble because he doesn't have anybody with him. And he is going to lose the draft here with Stoner and Stewart. And Robert Brobst is also going to lose the draft here. So this group is going to be down to 7 cars up front.
Yeah, this is where we get to this part of the race where everybody's just kind of scattered around all over the place, trying to pick up where they can and slip into the draft. But this front group here definitely pushing hard as they come around here on Steve Vest. And he'll look to slip to the back of this group, stay in the draft, and just wait and see what happens.
As, yep, those cars will come down pit road, and you see it on the ticker right there. We'll get the cycle around, and the 92 at Josh Ward is going to be your leader for the first time tonight. Aaron Smith pushes him in second. Your leader before that round of pit stop, Scotty Sobczak, will come out in third. So we have a 7-car breakaway up in front of the field. And, I mean, look at the gaps of the cars behind him. It's 5 seconds from Danforth to Brobst. He's got no one behind him. It's another 2 seconds to Stoner and Stewart. They've got a gap between them, Colby and Leach. They have a gap between Lickard and Benson Weaver, and it's all just going to keep stacking back, and all these cars are going to keep falling off until they finally get into a pack with each other and can start actually making time.
And that's the patience you have to have. Can get frustrating in a hurry when you're not in the draft and when you know you can't do anything because you're so on an island. But we'll see what everybody can get done here. A lot of radio chatter here. Everybody trying to work with each other to just get back up with the pack, with a pack, as they can continue racing on here. We're not even halfway through this one yet, so a lot of time left to see something happen here tonight.
Yeah, still a lot of time left in this race. A lot of time for the big one to come out and shake up the whole field. Haven't seen it yet tonight, but it's always a possibility at Talladega. We've been caution-free for the first 33 laps. We've been single file for most of the first 33 laps. And these top 7 drivers continue to roll in line. We'll make that top 6 because James Danforth has just lost the draft now too. So we are down to 6 cars up here in line. And they're just going to keep rolling. Some cars are really having some issues hanging with these drivers. I'm not sure why the driver at the back is having such a rough time staying in the field. Right now, that's Nick Dicer. He's going to have to make sure he doesn't lose anything from maybe a lap car side drafting him or anything like that, because we are rapidly running out of cars in this front group who can contend for the win unless a caution comes out, because it's just Josh Ward, Aaron Smith, Scotty Sobczak, Devin Jack, Chris Smith, and Nick Dicer right now.
And if you're any of those guys, you feel really good about your chances tonight, but the rest of the field kind of left scratching their head on how this one might have got away from them. It's still gonna take something special even for these drivers at the front of the field here. I mean, do you want to be leading come white flag, or do you want to be that driver who's in second place to try to get that run to make that move? It's what always makes for those exciting finishes here, but we've still got some time before we have to start thinking about that. But you see Aaron Smith quietly lurking right now behind Josh Ward.
Yeah, and Aaron Smith is really just going to buy his time here. He doesn't have any reason to try to pull out and snag the lead, at least not until the last few laps of the race. For now, I think he's perfectly content to just run second behind Josh Ward, make sure he doesn't get in any accidents, and like you mentioned it earlier, just make sure he's there at the finish of this race, or else he could be in some major trouble. Chris Smith is having some major trouble. He is having some internet issues. He's been blinking in and out of the session. Right now he's in, but as we went down that front straightaway there, he was out more than he was in it, and that was giving a little bit of a headache to Nick Dicer behind him, who couldn't see that 28 car and had to back way off to avoid any sort of contact with him when he blinked back into the session.
Yeah, that's a tough situation to be in iRacing, where you're not sure if that car's coming back in or how that car is going to be when it comes back in, where it'll be on the track. So good for them to stay patient with one another, not really lose too much of a step here in this top group.
Coming up on some lap cars here in this top group, Zachary Mitchell, Ryan Hinkle, Laurel Wiseman is going to be the cars here that are going to get lapped, along with the 8 of Braxton DeWeese, who is going to go 2 laps down. You can see those 4 cars make their way off into turn 1 as the 6-car lead group follows them in. They're going to get caught pretty quickly here. I wonder if these 4 cars or at least some of these 4 cars will be able to tag back on to the end of this lead line, or if they're just going to keep free falling through the field and maybe fall back to that little trap of a Stoner and Stewart there eventually there in 7th and 8th.
It's going to be interesting to see how this front group manages their way around and what that lap car group is going to decide they want, what they are capable of doing also.
They're going to get lapped here pretty soon. You can see this lead group close up to him here. Have to imagine that these cars are maybe going to get out of the way, or else the lead group here of Ward and Smith might have to go a little high to get around them. For now, everyone's staying pretty glued to the inside. And we have our second DNF of the race. Justin Wilson has just disconnected after that wreck in pit road. Came into this race towards the top of the point standings, but he is done for the night. And these lap cars are going to stay on the inside, so Ward is going to have to make the jump to the top to get around him. And this entire group of 6 is going to follow him on through. And some of these cars in the back are going to really have to stay tight here to avoid maybe losing some time with all the side drafting going on right now. The side draft is so powerful in these cars. I mean, they're struggling to get around the slow cars.
And this is something that could really make this an interesting exchange that's happening with these front runners and these lap cars. Everybody now having to get packed back up again. Regardless of their on-track position, they're all running side by side, so the opportunity for things to happen increases, but everybody kind of keeping it straight. The top line staying real high up, and that bottom line just not able to get the speed. Braxton DeWeese, I believe that's Laura Weisman as well, trying to work with one another just to stay. That looks like they're going to be able to hold out a couple of Devin Jack, Chris Smith not able to drop back down there. The 84 getting a little bit of the draft off the back of the 81 of Scotty Sobczak. And they might be able to stay with them here on that bottom line. Interesting.
Well, those 3 cars pulling down is really going to help that group stay with them, but it's kind of going to hurt that group of cars who got stuck up top, Jack Smith and Dicer, because they are not able to get around that group of cars on the inside led by Laura Weisman right now. And in fact, it looks like these cars are going to actually just drop into line with the lap cars. Devin Jack is trapped out there. He's going to go all the way back to the end of this line. But Smith and Dicer just pulled in with the lap cars. They're in behind Deweese and Laura Weisman. And they're going to just keep this as one big line.
And if you're Devin Jack, that just has to be a hopeless feeling as you watch any help you could have hoped for just disappeared and dropped down to the bottom. You know what the next thing coming is, and it's going to the back of the pack. So able to kind of stay in it, though, Devin Jack. He'll continue to make his way around here, try to get pulled back up to the rest of the field a little tighter, but these are the battles that have to be fought for these lap cars, as they're just trying to fight for their lives out here at Talladega, make the most of their night.
Yeah, and this group of cars is going to continue around the inside here. You see a couple cars maybe falling off the back of it there. That's Devin Jack, Zachary Mitchell. Jack is going to need to close up pretty quickly here. The gap on screen isn't the true gap between him and Dicer, because he's got the lapper of Ryan Hinkle in the middle. But it's still not great for him to be this far back. He would want to be closing. And Zachary Mitchell's behind him, but that 23 car doesn't seem to have the speed that he needs either. So Devin Jack is in danger of losing the field right now and making this only a top 5 up front. And, I mean, when it gets to a certain point, when you've lost all these cars, you start to wonder if maybe a second group could form and close up. But it's 14 seconds back right now to Samuel Stoner in the 65. And now that Devin Jack has lost the draft, he is going to make that 14-second fall all the way back to that group of Stoner, Stewart, Danforth, and Rye Jones, as your top 5 continue to ride around the bottom here with a bunch of lap cars.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. Jack just not getting the pushes he needs, not riding close enough with that pair to make it work, and they are just falling and falling fast. So we kind of, the focus will start to shift now. Lap 42, getting into kind of this middle back closing stage of the race. Drivers having to start to think about what they want to do. Drivers who are still in a competitive position here. Ward, Smith, Sobzak, Chris Smith, Dicehair up in this group. Devin Jack, that driver we just talked about. Slowly shuffling back there. But it'll be interesting to see how this front group here decides they want to race the rest of the way.
Yeah, and they're going to stay clean here until maybe the last 5-ish laps of this race. I can't imagine any of these cars are going to try to make a move any sooner, barring a yellow coming out to shake things up. Right now, they want this thing to go green. They want to hold on the inside because you figure at this point, if you're up in this lead group, the absolute worst you're going to finish in this race if we stay green is 5th. And that is what they want to do. That's where they want to be. It's also getting in a situation where basically every group is single file. There's not really a ton of crazy pushing going on, so it's going to make it even less likely for any cautions to occur that could close the field back up as your leaders just continue to stay single file, make laps, and just try their best to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, it could get one of these rare races here at Talladega tonight where there aren't any big wrecks. Hopefully we don't put the curse on them, and we haven't spoken too soon, but a lot of just nose-to-tail racing as these drivers just try to manage their position on track and get with the groups they need to be with and stay with them for the duration of this race.
Couple more lap cars right up the road there from Josh Ward in the 92. Derek Fike in the 97, Tom Lickard in the 99, currently running 17th and 16th respectively, so won't be long before Ward catches up to that 6-7 car of Fike and puts him a lap down.
Yeah, this front group is moving really, really well. I mean, they're not just running around on track, but making ground up. I think the only real interesting part of what we're going to see coming up here is these lap cars again. Like, how will these lap cars integrate back into this pack that's coming around on them? Just again to try to make the most of what they've got here. I'm sure they're not having a great time just rolling around 2 cars at a time, trying to push that pedal through the floor and then some to get that speed, but we'll see what happens here as Josh Ward and Aaron Smith and the crew come rolling around. Looks like they'll get ready to make the move here as they come off the exit of turn 4 and get into the tri-oval. So a little bit of fanning out
outside there. Yeah, they'll jump out to that outside, and it looks like this group is going to stay together pretty nicely. It was a lot easier to kind of be a headache when you had 4 cars up in line, but with only 2, it's a lot harder to get the speed that you need to actually be annoying up in this line. And it looks like everyone should get around pretty cleanly here. Once again, those top 3 cars of Ward, Smith, and Sobzak are working really well together and just dropping down, trying to leave Smith and Dicehair for dead. Hasn't worked quite yet, but those 2 are once again losing a little time here up on the outside. I wonder if maybe they'll just drop down. Dicehair has dropped down in the 00. He's pulled into line. Chris Smith is still a little stranded up top there, so that'll promote Dicehair up to 4th. Smith will finally get in line back in 5th here, and we've kind of just admitted Lickert and Fike into the already existing line of cars that we had, the top 5 plus Deweese plus Wiseman.
Yeah, and it's an interesting group up here of leaders and lappers as they just try to keep it going. I was really surprised Chris Smith ended up hanging up there so high, but something interesting we did see was Braxton Deweese looked like he was looking for a second line to try to form as those lap cars came around. We've seen him poke his nose out to the outside there a few times around Laura Wiseman. Not too sure how far away we are from the next group of lappers, but wouldn't be surprised if we saw some kind of different strategy to do something to make an impact here for cars that want to get ahead.
We are coming up on 20 to go here in just a moment at Talladega. We've been green flagged the whole way through. It's Josh Ward, it's Aaron Smith, it's Scotty Sobzak, Nick Dicer, and Chris Smith, your top 5. And they're the only 5 lead lap cars up in this top group. It's a 15-second gap back from Smith in 5th to Devin Jack in 6th, who's in a line back there of Stoner, Stewart, James Danforth, and Rye Jones rounding out your top 10 at the moment. You've got Robert Probst, Patrick Colby, Jay Leach, Benson Weaver, Jay Heichman through 15th. Those are your cars on the lead lap right now.
And a lot of these cars just fighting for their lives out here, trying to make sure they can get the points they need. As we go into a race next week, that's not a points payer, right, Sky?
Don't quote me on that. I think it is, but I could be wrong. I know it's a money race. I know they're giving away a little bit of money, but I would assume it's money and points.
That just adds to the excitement of a race at North Wilkesboro, I'll tell you.
It does. It's going to be, I would say, a very different race from what we have seen tonight next week at North Wilkesboro.
I sure hope so. I mean, North Wilkesboro is one of those unique tracks, and just so much excitement. It's like kind of short track racing, but it's kind of something unique all its own. So with the added element of a little bit of padding in your pocket if you go home the winner, that'll make next week that much more exciting. But I'm sure it'll be a refreshing change here after coming to a super speedway.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot in that race of what we have not seen tonight. Beating, banging, side-by-side racing, and cautions. As we have gone 51 laps single file now at Talladega, and we have spent most of those 51 laps in a single file line around the bottom here, as cars have just kind of slowly but surely lost this draft and have made it until we got to the point where we're at, where it is 5 cars in line up here on the lead lap, plus 2 lappers that have slotted in with everybody else here. They did get VK and Lickert sorted out of this pack, so it is just Smith, Dicer, and then the 2 lappers of DeWeese and Wiseman. Wiseman is going to be absolutely on her knees begging for a caution because she will be the lucky dog if they get one. And no real threat either because Braxton DeWeese is 2 down up here in this pack instead of 1 down, so he won't get one. He's done. Pretty good pushing going on up there between Smith and Ward, that 70 car. All over the bumper of the 92. Doesn't really have to be all over the bumper of the 92. We got more pit stops going on here. Second group of cars is all into the pits, so I'm assuming we're going to have some fuel stops up front as well. Maybe for this top line. Are they going to come down this time? No. But the entire second pack has come in for fuel. That was the Rye Jones Samuel Stoner pack. And they're going to make it out single file here. I mean, leaving a couple cars behind. And this lead group will now go around to lap them. As we're going to need a second pit stop for fuel. These leaders have not taken it yet.
It'd be interesting to see when these leaders do decide they need to come down, how they're handling things on fuel. They're still running pretty flat out here. You mentioned the pushes from Aaron Smith to Josh Ward. Maybe just something he's giving him a look at what he might be looking to do later. I mean, you're starting to think about the ending stages of this race. We've got just over 10 laps to run, 15 laps to run.
We are running out of time here now. Yeah, we're running out of time here now at Talladega.
Curious to see how these guys will position themselves. We've talked about it kind of all night, even though they've been nose to tail for the majority of this race. Patience only lasts so long. We know Aaron Smith has a lot of wins under his belt here this year, but he'll want to add another as quickly as he can. And that situation, that opportunity is just 1 car length ahead of him.
Laps continue to run down here. Everybody else has seemingly made a pit stop except for those cars of Colby, Leach, and Weaver, who all stayed out a little late. Plus this group of cars up here in the top 5 who have been nose to tail this whole time. And on lap 55, seem like they're just going to run it as long as they can before they do make that move down pit road that most of the field has made. They'll almost certainly still cycle out to the lead unless Colby, Leach, and Weaver stay out even longer than them, and then they'll cycle back to the lead once those cars come down.
Yeah, and everybody just going to do their best to keep pushing here. So we see the lead pack go by the 42 of Paul Thomas.
Ward continues to lead this race up front with Aaron Smith second, Sobzak third, Dicer fourth, Chris Smith fifth. They're going to have to come down soon here. There's no way they can keep this thing out for all of the last 14 laps of this race. I think the play for these guys is just going to be to run it as long as they can so that the final fuel stop is as short as possible. They're playing it as if it's going to go green to the end here, and I think that's what they're going to hope for, seeing as really nobody else is going to be able to catch them unless we do get a yellow, because they are just so far out in front in this top 5.
Yeah, and I'd say that's a pretty safe bet based on what we've seen thus far here tonight to think that it's going to stay green. It'll make that green flag pit stop that much more interesting. See how much fuel drivers think they can take if it saves them a second or a half a second on pit road. Josh Ward just came over the radio. Said he was coming to pit this time by, so we'll see as they get out of the back, as they get down the backstretch and into 3 and 4. We'll see if the 92 leads the leaders down pit road.
We will see. I think it's only really going to be a matter of time here as we hit lap 57 out of 69 at Talladega. Not a lot of racing left here. Not a lot of time for these cars to come down, and then not a lot of time for them to make their way back up front. And we're going to see the pit stops begin now. We got a little racing onto pit road here with Aaron Smith and Ward. And car way off in the grass. That's Laura Wiseman taking a detour through the grass. She'll get in no man's land there, but your top 5 lead lap cars all stayed out, or all stayed in nice and clean, and they're not going to have any issues getting into the pits. Laura Wiseman will obviously get a black flag for that one.
Yeah, that's just a tough situation for Laura to be in. I mean, trying to make it work and not get in the way of as a lap car, not trying to get in the way as she's making her way onto pit road, but she was able to keep it rolling out of that grass. I'm sure there's a few drivers who were holding their breath to see if maybe there was a yellow flag that might have come out if she could not get it going, but able to keep it rolling, get onto pit road where she belongs, and get that car serviced.
As we are going to come off pit road here, and we'll see where these cars rejoin back up into the field. Aaron Smith is going to come out, and he will be the first car in this group, and then Sobzak, Deweese, Chris Smith are going to come out in a line. They lost Josh Ward. They have lost Josh Ward. Josh Ward is out of this group now. He was leading. But as those top 4 cars came down for fuel only, Josh Ward, I don't know if he maybe checked his settings wrong or what, but he put 4 tires on it. So he is not going to be in contention for the win of this race. Neither is Nick Dicer. He's lost the group as well. He just had a bad pit stop, didn't make it into pit lane cleanly. So it's going to be 3 cars here. Aaron Smith, Scotty Sobzak, and Chris Smith for the lead of the race, barring a yellow. So we are at 12 laps to go.
I'll tell you what, that's going to be one that Josh Ward might lose a little bit of sleep over tonight. Not checking your settings before flying down pit road and getting the 4 tires, spending all that time is brutal. Unfortunately, part of racing, but this was a race that he was very much a competitor in for the lead, and I'm sure he'll want to get back out there, push it just as hard as he can, make up as many spots as he can to get what he still can out of the night here, as he's back here with Patrick Colby and Jay Leach. Benson Weaver trying to make it work. Well, he cuts down right there on Benson Weaver. Tight quarters, but makes it happen. As the lead pack now led by Aaron Smith. Going to get around the lap car of Ryan Hinkle.
Running out of time here to get back up to the front of this field. If you're one of these drivers who are really, I say one of the drivers, if your name is Scotty Sobczak or Chris Smith, you're running out of time to get your way back up to the front of the field and try to stop Aaron Smith from winning his 5th on the season. Dicer is out of it. Colby is out of it. Everybody is out of it except for these top 3, barring a yellow. If we get that caution, it would completely shake this race up. It would put a whole new group of cars up here in front of the field. But as it stands, it's your top 3, and there is no one in the same ballpark as them. We say Daytona is a track, or Talladega is a track of underdogs, but it has been Smith, Sobczak, and Chris Smith all season, and that is looking like it's going to be the 3 coming down to the end here today as well, as we take 9 to go. It'll be 8 to go next time around.
Well, it's definitely one of these deals where the veterans know better and they're able to just get out there and stay rolling the entire race. Positions through attrition of pit cycles and being able to stay with the draft. I don't know about you, but I'm not surprised that we see these guys up here at the front leading laps here in the late stages.
And we're going to take 8 to go this time around. Time is rapidly running out at Talladega for someone to get something going. I don't think anybody back of Chris Smith is going to get something going, so it is just going to be Smith and Sobczak up front right now in what has been maybe the most dominant Talladega race I've ever seen here for a group of cars. Everybody else just 1 by 1, 2 by 2, lost the pack, and your front 3 cars have stayed with it all night long. They started 1st, 2nd, and 4th, and they're running 1st, 2nd, and 3rd as we come down to the end of this thing. They've got the 8 of Braxton DeWeese, the lap car in this group as well. He's 2 laps down, but he could still decide a winner tonight, depending on who he helps out at the end of this thing.
Yeah, I mean, he could definitely play a factor here depending on how involved he wants to be in drafting with any of these front 3.
Seven to go now from Talladega. Braxton DeWeese is running 20th right now as he sits in the end of this group. There's only 11 cars even on the lead lap. It's Aaron Smith back to Devin Jack in P11. And, oh, do we have some wrecking? We have cars wrecked in the pits. Did they take a tow or did they just come down? They just came down. Okay, I saw a bunch of cars suddenly go to 0 miles an hour and got scared they had wrecked for a second. But there was just a very out-of-sequence pit stop for Jay Leach and Patrick Colby after everybody else had already come down. They'll come out now, they'll go a lap down, and we will be down to 9 cars on the lead lap as we take 6 to go. Devin Jack will be the last one of those, and he should not play a role in the end of this race.
And we've got a little bit of slicing and dicing going on toward the rear of the field here with Devin Jack and this group. They've tried to kind of keep it together, nose to tail. A few moments they were side by side there as they were looking to get around a pack, but this is a nice little group here. I mean, all over the place in on-track position, but you see them racing each other just all the same, trying to do what they can.
They're going to make their way around the outside here. Yep, they're going to make their way around the outside of these cars. And just kind of get rid of them as quick as they can.
Be interesting to see how quick they can get around them and get rid of them. I think it's a pretty tall task, honestly.
They've gotten around him pretty quickly here, so it's just Smith, Sobczak, and Chris Smith. I should start separating the Smiths because we've got Aaron and we've got Chris up here, and they both got the same last name, and then Scotty Sobczak is kind of just hanging out in the middle of this. We got a couple more lap cars up the road. Laura Wiseman, Tom Lickert sitting here 18th and 19th, and they're going to go 2 laps down here in just a second as well. At the rate we are running, I am stunned that so far we have kept this entire race green, and we are really running out of laps here. It's going to be 4 to go at the line this time for, I would say, really a caution to come out to maybe get someone else in this race, because right now it is just going to be your top 3, and they are going to race for the win. Maybe we could go 3 wide across the line for a finish. How about that?
Sure would be something. There's going to have to be a lot of factors that come into play. as that lead group continues to charge on by these lap cars and make it happen. Could be fun, though, off turn 4 to see a little drag racing through the tri-oval.
Let's get some cars dropping out to the inside there. That's Laura Wiseman. She doesn't want to be involved in this battle at the end of the race. Same with Tom Lickert. So they're just going to fall all the way out of the field, and they will not play a factor in this finish. Lickert's actually going to try to dice back up into the middle here. We'll see if any of these cars can push somebody to the win here. If maybe Chris Smith or Scotty Sobczak is friends with Colby, Jay Leach, Tom Lickert hanging out behind him, and one of those cars decides to get up and try to push his buddy to the win. Could very much be something that happens here as we take 3 to go. And there are 3 cars who are going to be racing for the win in a race that might go green to checkered at Talladega. Don't see that very often.
I was just going to say, how often do you see that happen? I could count on one hand how many times I've seen a green flag run flag to flag at Talladega, especially in these cars with how easily they can get out of shape. The speeds that you're doing, the pushes that you're giving. These drivers, I mean, it's a testament to just how professional they are and how clean they race one another, especially at Talladega, where there's every opportunity to go out there and get a little silly. Everybody staying serious, at least so far. We'll see what they can do here as they're coming through the tri-oval back to the start finish line.
2 to go at Talladega for Chris Smith, for Scotty Sobczak, and for your current race leader, the 70 of Aaron Smith. Aaron Smith trying to grab his 5th win of the season. Scotty Sobczak going for win number 2. Chris Smith going for win number 1 as we come down to the end of this thing. Chris Smith does sit second in points, but no matter what he does today, it's not really going to cut into Aaron Smith's deficit at all. It's 40 points between those 2 cars, and they're so close to each other that not really going to be able to create any separation, even if Smith does win. Sobczak got a win earlier this season at Bristol, which is a very different kind of racetrack to Talladega, but maybe he can get it done at both the shortest oval on the schedule and the longest. White flag in the Evan Pienta Design 69.
It'd be interesting to see how Sobczak and Chris Smith want to work with one another. If they decide to try to back it up and leave Aaron Smith out. Yeah, there he goes.
There they go.
Run to the top side.
Scotty Sobczak, Chris Smith up to the top. Scotty Sobczak's got the lead right now. Chris Smith couldn't get clear. Is the 81 going to pull down or will he stay high? He's going to cut down in front of the 70 of Aaron Smith. That's the line, because you've got Patrick Colby in it. You've got Jay Leach back in it. The 2 lap cars are pushing. Smith goes high. Sobczak follows. They're all over the back of each other. Aaron Smith gets to the outside. It's a drag race. They're side drafting. Aaron Smith gets the lead. He's going to win it at Talladega.
Wow, what a finish. As Aaron Smith goes tumbling into the inside wall. Scotty Sobczak gave it all he had, throwing the block there at the end, trying to make it work. It was a good block, just not quite enough to fend off Aaron Smith, and he can't quite get back up off the bank.
He's not going to be able to burn it out because he is stuck. Oh, that does not happen every day. And he has just been sent over the catch fence by contact with, that is Josh Ward. Oh, my... We've got wrecks that should not be possible. We have about 7 fatalities here post-race. We are going to see Aaron Smith go. I think he's going to hit Mars on the way up here in just a second. There you go.
That was...
Houston, we have liftoff.
A little bit
That's
of good
the night of
cover
Peter
relief.
Stewart coming in like a missile there. All right. Well, we're gonna go to a commercial break here while we get our top 3 called up for an interview, and we'll be back in just a second.
Ready, set, let's go. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up, going all the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up, going all the way up. There's nothing you can do to stop it. I've been on the way up cause I know I'm popping. Hits, no misses. Clean up like the dishes. Ain't no point telling me to stop cause I won't listen. Every level got a new devil. I'ma give him hell cause I don't know better. Let's go. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up, going all the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up, going all the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up, going all the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up, going all the way up. I'm getting close. I can taste it. I'm going up like a spaceship. I'm shaking the ground. I'm making it loud. I go to work when nobody's around. It's time to get it. It's time to go. It's time to shine. It's my time to blow.
Hey partner, I'm Barry, your pocket crew chief, the very first AI-powered mechanic for sim racing. Got a car that's a little loose or tight? Just tell me how it's handling, and I'll whip up instant setup recommendations just for you. Want me to get even more precise? Snap a picture of your setup, and I'll fine-tune it to perfection. And hey, I'm not just about giving orders. I'll explain why every adjustment matters, so you can really understand your ride. I'll even teach you the science behind the setup. Ever wonder why the track bar is so important? I've got the answer. With Pocket Crew Chief, I'll make you smarter, faster, and race ready. So what are we waiting for? Let's build to win.
We are back here on Slingshot TV from Talladega, and we're going to take a quick look at your finishing results before we get our interviews here. Aaron Smith is your winner tonight in the 70. Scotty Sobzak, Chris Smith, Nick Dicer, Josh Ward, your top 5. Stoner, Jones, Stewart, Jack, and Colby round out your top 10.
You've got Jay Leach, James Danforth, Benson Weaver, Robert Brobst, Jay Heischman, Brian Brobst, Zachary Mitchell, Derek VK, Braxton DeWeese, and Tom Lickert wrapping out the top 20 finishers here at Talladega.
Finishing back from there, Ryan Hinkle, Matt Kuntz, Steve Vest, Laura Wiseman, Paul Thomas, Justin Wilson, and Johnny Rapp. And we're going to call into the booth here your first place finisher tonight for the 5th time this season. It's Aaron Smith. How you doing? Aaron Smith, you got a copy?
Yeah, I've got you.
5 wins on the season. How's it feel?
Feels fantastic. I'll tell you what, this package was certainly interesting. I had a feeling it'd come down to whoever started toward the front, like controlling the race, and fortunately it worked out for us.
Yeah, I mean, you were single file for a while there, but tell us about that battle at the end where you just barely snagged the win over Sobzak.
Yeah, Scotty and I were talking. Like, we knew that it was going to come down to something like that if Chris pulled out of line. Like, I knew that Scotty was going to want to work with him just in case. But I had Patrick in there too. Like, we're all on the same team, so we were all just talking about that and made the agreement not to wreck each other if it came down to it. And we had ourselves a clean finish. And fortunately, like I said, it worked out well for me.
All right, anyone you have to thank tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the folks at the Slingshot Racing League for putting this championship on, all the folks in the field for giving us a clean race flag to flag, and all the folks for watching. Looking forward to getting back at it wherever we are next week.
All right, congrats on your 5th win of the season, Aaron Smith.
10-4, thank you.
And we're going to send it over to Sal now, who's standing by with your runner-up, Scotty Sopzak.
Scotty, that was some finish there. It looked like you had a pretty good chance to get the win, just didn't quite get the push you needed there at the end. A little bit of scratching and clawing. Is there anything you could have done different coming down to the start finish there to get the win?
Yeah, I looked back at that. I think I made a defensive move and kind of went down the track, and then kind of didn't make a solid enough decision to stick to a line, and that allowed Aaron to get to the top of me and keep that momentum going, and then drag me back, and honestly made it closer than it should have been for a second anyway. So yeah, I think I made the right move earlier in the lap to when I had the momentum and had Chris behind me. But yeah, it was just one move probably too much, or one mistake at the very end that cost me that win.
Yeah, we saw you make that great block kind of at the beginning of the tri-oval there. It was a great move to kind of put yourself in position. But was there any strategy you were kind of discussing on track? We talked to Aaron Smith a little bit, and he mentioned there was some communication. How did it sound from your side?
Yeah, so Aaron and myself and Josh and Patrick run together, and so we had a decent plan going into the race, and kind of figured out that fuel wasn't going to be an issue, and then the goal was to line up and try to dance away from everybody. But the reality is that everybody else kind of makes it hard to do. So at one point there was a few different packs going on, and we just coordinated to make sure that we were on the same pit strategy and come out together. And we lost Josh and Patrick there, like kind of mid-race, or lost Josh towards the end on that last stop. But either way, it was good race with the guys, and yeah, we had a decent plan, and it was good to get a 1-2.
Well, we know you won at Bristol a while back, and next week we're at North Wilkesboro. How do you like your chances?
I was hoping we'd get a different track like North Wilkesboro on the schedule this year, which is awesome. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it, so I'll be rooting on from somewhere else and watching the broadcast. But yeah, if I was to race, I think I'd have a decent shot. I like the short tracks. I think the difference there is going to be how well you can use the brakes in these cars, because they're just so different and perform differently than a lot of other stock cars on the service at a short track like that. So it'll be fun to watch regardless. But I won't be a part of it, but I'll be watching.
Awesome. Well, anybody special you got to thank here tonight?
Yeah, I think Alex upstairs, baby Junebug, little Josephine on the way here too over Christmas. She'll is watching. And yeah, thanks to the teammates, the guys that ran there. We had a good strategy. That was cool to at least finish second. Thanks for you guys putting on the broadcast. SRL doing a great job with the league, so appreciate everything.
Awesome. We'll throw it back over to Sky. That's Scotty Sopzak wrapping it up. Second place here at Talladega.
And we're now going to throw it over to our 3rd place finisher tonight. That is the 28 car of Chris Smith. Chris, how you doing?
Doing well. How are y'all doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. 3rd place tonight. How's it feel?
Yeah, it feels good. It feels good to get out of Talladega with a pretty good finish. Was not a very typical super speedway race by any means. But yeah, we survived. Wasn't a whole lot of action to really dodge out there. It was just about just trying to maintain your track position and maintain your position in the draft. So yeah, happy to get out here with a pretty good result tonight.
What was your plan there at the battle of the end when it came down to you 3 on the last lap?
Well, and it's nothing. I told Aaron in the waiting room, it's nothing against him, but I was gonna try to do anything I could to make sure that guy in the yellow car didn't win, because I told Scotty, he's like, we can't let him win all these races. So I was gonna go with Scotty, and I did, and that got him to the lead. But I knew that Patrick, he's a teammate of Aaron and Scotty, so I knew that we had just lapped him, and so I knew he was going to go with Aaron. So I shot my shot, if you will, right there, and coming to the line right there, they got kind of, side by side, and I had a good toe on them. And for a split second, I kind of had an option up the middle there coming to the line when Aaron was, making his move back around him. But that hole closed up real fast, and that put me right behind Aaron. So just kind of had to ride right there to the line. But yeah, still a good result.
North Wilkesboro tonight, or next week. How you feeling about that one?
It'll probably be wild. I think that it'll be a lot more entertaining for you guys than tonight was. So, yeah, I'll be honest. I haven't been on the new North Wilkesboro yet, so I probably need to run some laps before then and get a feel for it. So, the track looks good. The real life Cup race that I saw there, it looked really racy. So, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the challenge for sure.
All right. Anyone you have to thank tonight?
Well, first off, I want to thank you guys because I've been up in the booth for some stinkers before. Not saying that this was one of them, but I know that it probably wasn't the most entertaining race to call. So, hey, we really appreciate you guys, hanging in there, sticking in there, and and calling the action. Y'all always do an awesome job. So, thanks for all your hard work, and everybody at Slingshot TV, Ellis, the guys on Monday nights, Justin and Johnny, and my shout out to my teammates, Steve and Paul. I know that they had their own troubles tonight, but thank them for hanging out. Shout out to my parents if they're watching at home. All the league admins, all the league sponsors, Stand Up Fight Series, trying to get them a win before the end of the season. Hopefully we can do that. UD Awards, Evan Pienta for designing the paint that you see here, and for all the viewers for tuning in and watching every single Wednesday night.
All right, congrats on P3 tonight, Chris Smith.
Appreciate it, y'all. Take it easy.
And Sal, we mentioned North Wilkesboro next week. Any final thoughts about that?
Well, it'll be one that I think we're definitely going to get a little bit more race in. It'll definitely be racier, bumping and grinding, going around North Wilkesboro. So looking forward to seeing that one. In stark contrast to tonight, two different types of tracks, two different types of racing, but getting right back to it with a little added flair next week. I know there's a little extra on the line, and that'll make for some even better racing.
All right, well, for Sal and Kobe up here in the booth with me, and for everyone at the Slingshot Racing League and Slingshot Racing Media, make sure to like and subscribe so you can join us for North Wilkesboro next week, and have a great night.
Fellas, go have a good day today. Like I said, load all the fans, and thank you guys for coming out here. We got a great crowd today. Everybody listening at home.
If you push, I'm defiant.
Everybody enjoy
Just
the race.
try it. It is bound to get violent when you walk this way.
Do it. All four tires face the same direction at the end of this thing. Ready? Green, 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 green. Good, baby. Put the pressure on that. You know what? You get it. Crash behind you. Just past halfway, bud. Just past halfway. A lot of racing to go. Take care of your stuff. That car up there is your next spot. Hit him. Yeah, man, let him come to you. Don't push him. White flag, nice and smooth. Checker flag.